Some of these Reddit stories will have you wondering if you should be divorcing your wife as well. Welcome to the Bree Hive, where boss attorney Bree is the judge and you, the Bree Hive, is the jury. So make sure you are commenting below your thoughts so that we can weigh the facts and determine the verdict on if these people are trifling. My wife was going on late night walks and I divorced her when I found out why. Late night walks in itself sound suspicious, so I'm already thinking that this person is not trifling, but let's see what they have to say. Am I trifling for divorcing my wife after finding out that her late night walks had a specific definition? Definitely sounds sneaky. I am writing because I'm struggling with how everything went down and need a sanity check. My wife, 43 female, and I, 43 male, were married for 16 years. Unfortunately, we grew apart. I was not blameless in that. It took two of us to get into the position we were in. We were great with our kids, 10 and 13, but had fallen into a pattern of just trading off parenting duties rather than parenting together. I switched to a job a few years ago that allowed me to work from home 2 to 3 days a week, and this seemed to make things worse. It was like we were separated but living in the same house. That sucks to hear. When you're married, you gotta keep things spicy. You gotta keep in love. I tried to repair our marriage, but she seemed increasingly resentful of the time I tried to spend with her. It normally ended up in her yelling at me and storming off. I admit, I may be a lot to deal with. I am not confrontational and normally shut down and try to ignore her when she did this. I know that this is a bad way of dealing with it and I'm working on this. I was very, very depressed, but trying to work through it because it sounds like you really love your wife. Toward mid-December, she started taking late night walks after we put the kids to bed. I tried to give her space for her time and even offered to join her, but she preferred to go alone. I would be more concerned about my wife's safety with the late night walks, but also with this just starting out of nowhere, I definitely get why you're getting suspicious, especially with the trouble that you've been having during the marriage. I usually stayed up for her, frustrated or worried. I even bought her protective lights to keep her safe as the roads in our area do not have lights or sidewalks. Fast forward to January 5th. She left around 11 p.m. It was 28 degrees outside. By 2:26 a.m., she still wasn't back. I texted her asking if she was still walking. No response for 10 minutes. I called. It rang once and then voicemail. So I did something but holy. I used the Find My Phone feature. I had never done this before, and I know it was an invasion of privacy. No, it's not. You're worried about your wife. But a 4-hour walk in freezing weather until 3 a.m. felt completely abnormal. I was worried for her, but honestly, I was also frustrated and angry. I thought I could drive her and bring her home. However, the location confused me. It showed her at a house in our neighborhood, so she wasn't even too far away. Within a minute of me checking, two things happened. She texted me saying she was almost home. When I refreshed the map, her location services were turned off. When she returned, I asked her where she was, and she said out walking. I confronted her with the screenshot. I'm glad he screenshotted it because people be lying and it sounds like she's ready to lie. She claimed she may have walked down that street, which is a 30-minute walk from our house, but couldn't say for sure. She insisted she was not in any house and that the map must have locked on to that location. I felt used and lied to. I slept on the couch. She continued to deny everything, saying the phone was not accurate. She was my wife and I wanted to believe her, but I needed advice. So I turned to the best source of wisdom, Reddit, and the comments were brutal but helpful. I took another look at the location data and realized two things. I had been to the house before. It was saved in my phone as the home of one of my daughter's friends who lived with her single dad. Oh no, wife, why? It showed that she was logged into his Wi-Fi. I don't know how he would see that, but whatever, he got the information. The next night, as she was getting ready for a walk, I confronted her again. I told her I knew who she was with and about the Wi-Fi. She finally admitted that she was at the house, but claimed they were just friends, and she needed someone to talk to. We live a 20-minute drive from her sister, mother, and other friends, so go talk to them. I get where you're going. But she claimed she saw his light on while walking and decided to hang out. Then why did you lie about it if you were just being friends? At this point, I was angry and I told her we were done. Fast forward to the next weekend. Throughout the week, things were tense. She accused me of not trusting her, trying to control her, and not letting her have friends. 6 days later, on Saturday, she left early to go shopping. I took the kids and the dog on a walk at a local park. After about a mile, we looked ahead and saw a family approaching us. It was my wife walking with this guy and his kid, holding the guy's hand. Not you out here cheating in your own neighborhood, lady. What the heck? And the fact that it's your kid's friend, like, do you think this was not gonna come out? She wasn't wearing her glasses, so we got fairly close before she noticed. When she spotted us, she actually ducked behind him and turned around to walk in the other direction. I did the same so we wouldn't make a scene. My kids asked why we were walking away from mommy, and I just told them we would ask her later. She came home hours later, furious at me for being at the park. Why can't he go to the park? Her car was not in the park, so how was I supposed to know? And she told you she was going to the mall, so how would you know? She yelled at me, then lied to the kids, telling them that she just bumped into him and didn't see us, but she was holding that man's hand. No, we're not going for that. I was done. I decided I could not trust anything that she said and told her I was applying for a divorce. I know that I could have tried to work through it, but honestly, why? I was always the repairer of our relationship, and I just could not let this go. She called me every name she can think of. She said I was controlling. I don't think that I am. Accused me of cheating when I worked long hours. I didn't. And accused me of watching spicy videos. I plead the fifth. So you probably weren't being the best with the spicy video thing, but that still doesn't give her a right to go out and have a full-blown affair. If she had a problem with your alleged spicy video, she could have talked to you. I did slow walk the divorce for months, hoping she would propose counseling or try to make amends, but she didn't. I am not the good guy in this. I did invade her privacy by tracking her phone. I did choose to file for divorce rather than continue to try to make things work. I could have worked harder and insisted on counseling before we split. We do have kids, and I have heard of people putting up with each other until the kids leave the house, but that would have been another 8 years. So, am I trifling for divorcing my wife after finding her late night walks had a specific definition? I'm going to have to say no. Your wife was pretty trifling, and she tried to gaslight you and call you controlling when she was having a whole full-blown affair, and she can try to deny it all she wants to, but she's holding hands in a park with the man who has a child that is friends with your kid. Like, how embarrassing is that? And then for her to even blow up for you for being at a local park when she told you that she was going shopping? No, that's absolutely ridiculous, and she definitely gaslighted you. As always, Bree Hive, make sure you guys are commenting below so that we can know your thoughts, because as you know, as Boss Attorney Bree, I am the judge on this channel, but the Bree Hive is the jury, so we need to know your thoughts. And would you know it? There is an update already. Now buckle up, because this update is long, and this is going to be a live reaction from me. So update on am I trifling for divorcing my wife after finding out her late night walks had a specific destination. Update, it's now December the following year and the documents are signed. I will be divorced in a few weeks. The process was horribly painful, but I am happier than I have been in years. It was tough at first. I made the decision to cut off all of the joint friends. I did not want them to take sides, though this was probably unhealthy. Since I did not have family in the country, I was alone, feeling like a failure and a reject. I was spiraling fast. Fortunately, I did get help in time and found a wonderful therapist who helped me and does not take any bull poop. The divorce took a long time. My ex had knee surgery in February, and I took care of her the best I could. And you still took it in your heart to take care of her after she did this to you? You're a good guy. I'm trying to still be a good husband and figure things out, but you're not a husband anymore. But things became worse and worse. I did still love her, but my ex made no attempt at reconciliation for months. Finally, my therapist told me she does not want you anymore. Leave her alone. And it finally sank in that we were done. Yeah, because it seems like you were still a little bit attached. My therapist encouraged me to start taking notes every time I spoke with my ex and showed me how to set boundaries and communicating only via text and email. This drove my ex crazy, but ended all of the confusion about what was said in the past. My ex still refuses to use a shared parenting schedule, which has caused no end of trouble. But we have a system documented in our divorce document. I tried to make the divorce as simple as possible with my ex, but it did not work. We went through 2 mediation services. Both she walked away from until I finally lawyered up. She tried to give me visitation rights instead of joint custody of our kids. She refused to pay any bills while living in the house except for some groceries. She tried to trick me into giving her the house and paying off the remaining mortgage. She agreed to take half of our pets, but ended up abandoning them in the house, so I kept them. She refused to pay any of our shared debts. She finally moved out and, among everything, took every stitch of clothes for the kids, leaving me with nothing. So basically making you start over. Oh, she's so mean. My worst experience was with the sale of the house. It was truly the closing from hell. I attended the closing while my ex was vacationing with her family. We had discussed the proceeds being split 50-50 as they should be, but when I saw the document she had sent the closing agent, I was shocked to see that she had requested 100% of the funds be sent to her account. I called her and she was furious that I disturbed her on the beach and told me to just sign it. What followed was 3 hours of me calling her, the escrow agent calling her, and the realtor calling her while we tried to keep the buyers in the room. All she had to do was send an email from her phone with the updated instructions. I had to choose between trying to claw the money back later or walking away from the sale. Finally, my lawyer spoke to her lawyers with the intent of suing her for future closing costs and decrease in sale price of the home. She relented and we were able to sell the house. She sounds horrible. OP, you should be happy that you got out of this. As I said, it is now December and the divorce is almost final. I am happy and comfortable with my many pets who are a lot to manage, but I love them dearly, especially my wonderful opinionated husky. I have a great relationship with my kids. With the advice of his therapist, I told my son 14 what happened. We had some difficult conversations, but it brought us closer. I decided not to try to reconnect with old friends. One tried to yell at me in front of my own kids and others helped my ex move. I have no idea what my ex has been telling them, but only one reached out and asked if I was doing okay. Bizarrely enough, I will miss my mother-in-law, who was a dear lady in a gym. I now have a group of friends that match my weird energy. It might surprise people, but after over 9 months of denial and telling me I am crazy, my ex and this guy are officially together. I wish them the best of luck. As for me, I wanted to wait until the papers were signed before I asked anyone out, and I have a date for this weekend with someone who is very nice. My first date in 16 years. It's been a hell of a year, but I think I'm finally ready for my second act. This actually turned out to be a positive story, in my opinion, for OP, because although he had to go through what sounds like a horrible divorce, it seems like he came out better on the other end. Now, dealing with his ex-wife continuously, hopefully that does not continue for him. But it does sound like he finally moved on and he actually got away from a monster. And I'm wondering why it took OP so long to realize that his wife was so mean and evil. And if that new guy is willing to accept her, he deserves exactly what he's getting. She quit her job to become a trad wife? What is going on with society? Am I trifling for threatening my wife with divorce after she quit her job to become a trad wife? The question is, did you know or did you not know? It sounds like you didn't agree though. I don't even know where to begin with this. Me, 34 male, and my wife, 33 female, have 2 kids together, 11 male and 9 female. Me and my wife have been together for 12 years and married for 8. So this sounds like a decent length marriage and your wife is just quitting her job to become a trad wife and it doesn't sound like you guys have discussed this. Insane. Around a year ago, I noticed my wife increasingly sending me these trad wife or traditional wife TikToks. I have nothing against this type of relationship, but I don't think it makes sense for our current family situation. I do earn quite a bit more than my wife and enough to sustain our family on my own, but I don't see the need to do so. I work 80% and my wife works 50%, and besides Wednesdays where both of us are working, either one of us is always home for the kids. I could work 100% and let my wife be a stay-at-home mom, but again, both of my kids are attending school, and in my mind, there's no need for my wife to be at home 24/7. That is the dilemma for a lot of people with this trad wife stuff, especially when they have school age kids. Like, what are you going to be doing all day? We don't really need a spotless house. Our house is clean enough. She got increasingly pushy over the past 2 months. And again, I just kept on telling her that there wasn't any need for that. And if we did decide to go down that route, what would she be doing in the hours that my kids attended school? I know our house doesn't need to be clean for 6 hours a day. She would constantly try to butter me up with, you would have dinner ready every day when you come home for work. And something about unlimited BJs or some BS like that. Again, in the nicest way possible, I would remind her that our kids weren't toddlers and our current work-life schedule allowed for us to function perfectly fine. And like, wife, would you not get bored? We got into a pretty heated argument 2 weeks ago about it, and my wife completely stopped having adult spicy time with me to show me what I would be missing out on. She's basically treated me like a roommate since then. I just thought that she would get over it and this was just a phase, but gosh, was I wrong. I came home from work yesterday and saw a bunch of presents on the dining table. At first, I thought they were all for me since my birthday was in a week, but then I saw the labels on them addressed to my wife. I read one of the letters attached to the presents. The last sentence on it was literally, "It was a pleasure working alongside you, and I wish you all the best moving forward." I thought this was some sick prank. A few minutes later, my wife just casually strolled into the living room acting like nothing was wrong. I guess she saw my mad expression and had the audacity to tell me that you'll get over it. Oh my God. What is up with these people in this marriage? I just lost it. I just left without saying another word and went to my parents' house. I feel absolutely disrespected. Why the F would my wife think it was okay to just quit her job without telling me and just expect me to be fine with it? My wife has been bombarding me with texts and calls, demanding to know where I am and that my kids miss me. I just told her to go find a lawyer and that I was done with her and then proceeded to block her. My son just sent me a voicemail crying and asking why I was divorcing mom and if I was leaving the family, and I guess that kind of broke my heart. Really, she's deploying the kids against you? I haven't responded and honestly don't know what to say to him. My mother-in-law has also been demanding that I return home and apologize to my wife. Well, she'll get over it, just like she told you. My parents also seem to be siding with my wife since they are traditional Muslims. My mom also used to be a stay-at-home mom. Keyword, used to. But when the kids got out of there, what did she do? Let us know that, okay? I feel like I'm wrong for immediately jumping to divorce without hearing her out. And besides the whole job drama, I love my wife too much for this to be the end of our otherwise perfect marriage. But on the other hand, I feel like I've lost complete trust in her. I mean, she did just quit her job out of nowhere. Should I just swallow my pride and let my wife be a stay-at-home wife for now? Or should I go through with divorcing her? How should I navigate this situation? Am I trifling here? I'm going to have to say no, but before I explain why, Bree, make sure you are dropping your comments down in the comment section. I'm going to have to say no, you're not trifling here. You and your wife had a discussion on whether you thought that her being a trad wife would be beneficial to your family. You guys did not agree that it would be beneficial to your family. So why would she then go out and quit her job? Now, there may need to be another discussion about why she is feeling this way and how she thinks this is going to benefit your life. But her just going out and quitting her job is a complete breach of trust in this situation. Maybe she's burnt out. Maybe she just needs a little break, but that does not entail her just completely quitting and not having an agreement between the two of you. Now, I will say you probably did rush into pulling up the divorce card, but also she has breached your trust, and there may be some other things that she is breaching your trust on that potentially led to this, but you definitely need to be having a conversation with her, and you can't just run away from the problem. So overall, I'm going to say no, you're not trifling, but I do think that you jumped to the whole divorce thing too quickly. He's thinking about divorcing his wife after the crazy question that she asked him. Y'all gotta let me know what you think because this question is out of control. Am I trifling for divorcing my wife after she asked for an open relationship? And now I'm thriving and she isn't. Sounds like it didn't go the way that she really wanted it to. My 34 male, wife 32 female, and I have been married for 7 years. We've had a pretty great life together. I've built a successful business. I do pretty well for myself. I'll leave it at that. And we've traveled all over the world, live in a beautiful house, the whole deal. I've always thought we were happy. It sounds like you have a good life. So what is your wife talking about? Out of nowhere, a few months ago, my wife tells me she wants to open up our marriage. Her reasoning was that we are missing out on experiences. And she wanted to explore her options. You don't have options. You're married. What are you talking about? But she made it clear she still loved me and didn't want to break up. I was blindsided. We've never had issues with intimacy or connection. And honestly, I'm in great shape. I've always been attentive to her needs and I just didn't see it coming. Whenever people ask for an open relationship, it always goes bad. So I anticipate this is going to go bad. At first, I was against the idea, but then I figured, okay, why not let's see what happens? If this is what she wants, I'm not going to stop her. I agreed to give it a try, but with the condition that it goes both ways. If she's out meeting other guys, I'm going to be out meeting other women too. Well, here's where things got a little ironic. As soon as we opened the relationship, I started meeting women left and right. I'm talking crazy success on dating apps, people I meet through work, even casual flings while I'm traveling for business. Turns out being wealthy, fit, and confident tends to attract a lot of attention. I'll spare you the details, but let's just say I haven't exactly been lonely. Oh gosh, it always goes like this. It always goes like this. My wife, on the other hand, yeah, not so much. She's been on a few dates, but nothing's really panned out for her. A couple of the guys ghosted her, and she's mostly frustrated that it's not what she imagined. Meanwhile, I'm having a blast. Now he's gonna want to leave you. Why would you do this to yourself, wife? After a few months of this, I started to realize that I don't need to stay in a marriage where my wife was basically looking for an excuse to cheat on me. If she wanted to be single, then let's make it official. I filed for divorce, and now she's upset and saying that I'm punishing her for wanting to explore herself. But honestly, I just don't see the point of staying married if we're both dating other people. Why play house? Exactly. And it doesn't sound like you guys have kids. So now she's telling our friends that I'm being selfish and that I'm only divorcing her because she's not having as much success as I am in this open thing, which is absolutely not the case. And why would you care about her not having success and wanting to divorce her for that? It would be different if she was having too much success and then you wanted to divorce her for that. But her not being the catch she thought she was, that shouldn't make you upset. I just think we're on different paths now, and I realize I don't need to stick around when I can literally have my cake and eat it too. He was in love with this woman. So, am I trifling for filing for divorce, or should I have tried harder to make her feel better about a situation she basically created? No. Bria, make sure you are getting the comments so that we can get the verdict. As a pre-verdict, I'm leaning into saying no, OP is not the a-hole. Every time people try to open up their marriage, it always goes like this. I don't know why people think that this is going to work out. Just stay within your relationship. It sounds like wife had a good life, vacations, money, nice house. Doesn't sound like any kids are interrupting their time. But for some reason, she thought that she was going to go out and get all the hot guys when OP is already describing himself as a hot guy. So why would you go and mess a good thing up? I'm gonna say that OP is not trifling here. The wife definitely needs to do some reflection. She thought she was a hot commodity. It didn't turn out that way, and she can't be upset that he no longer wants to be with her. One, she didn't think their relationship was good enough, and two, he found out that he's having more fun without having to put as much effort in by messing with these other random ladies that she gave him permission to do. So no, I don't think that OP is trifling. Beehive, let me know what you think down below. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out this next video to let us know the verdict on those crazy Reddit stories. We'll be back next time.